Hey guys, Kim Wren here, and it's been a while. I hope that you are staying healthy and happy during these very, very strange times. If you are working in the healthcare system, you are a hero, and I pray that you stay healthy and rested and fed. And I just thank you for everything that you're doing, kind of out on the front lines to, to keep people well and keep people alive. So, it's been a while since I have hopped on the podcast, and I've just been doing other stuff, guys. There's really nothing else to it. I just haven't published podcast recently here, but hey, I'm back in the saddle for now, and I have some interviews to share. And I'm excited to get this one out today. So, back in, I want to say February, I sat down with photographer Kiyah Crittendon. She has a photography business here in the Atlanta area, and during normal times, she also does photography work out in the D.C. area as well. And today, she shared her journey into entrepreneurship, about how a set of not ideal circumstances launched her, or kind of in a way forced her into entrepreneurship, and that and how ultimately she's been really thankful for the circumstances that she faced that launched her into her new photography, or not new at this point, but into her career as a full-time photographer. And she is ultra talented. If you do not follow her on Instagram, find her at Kiyah C on Instagram, and listen up towards the end, because she is doing some really cool things to support small business owners, giving her services to small business owners right now who are faced with just challenges during this quarantine. And I think what she's doing is really cool, really helpful. And so listen out to the end. I'll tell you what she's doing for small business owners, or fast forward to the end if that's what you're interested in. So please enjoy my interview about the entrepreneur's journey with Kiyah Crittendon. All right, let's jump in. So I'm here today at the gathering spot with Kiyah Crittendon. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Of Kiyah C Photography, and she's an entrepreneur here in the Atlanta area. And with me getting into the entrepreneurial space, I get really excited when I meet other entrepreneurs. So when I met her, I knew I wanted to have her on the show. So welcome, Kiyah.
Thank you, Kim.
How are you?
Excited.
I'm excited too.
I'm good. It's
Good.
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Feeling good.
It's a cloudy day.
Yeah, but it's warm outside.
It is
feels
warm
great.
outside.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely left the house way overdressed.
Yeah.
I had like a big fuzzy hat on and gloves and everything. I got outside and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like almost 70 degrees.
It's almost 70 degrees. It's weird. Okay, so Kiyah, you're a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind telling us first about your journey into becoming a photographer? When did you pick up a camera?
Yeah. I've been taking pictures for as long as I can remember. As early as middle school, I had a little disposable camera I would bring to school every day. Just fun stuff with friends, mostly. That's what I was taking pictures of. My dad was a photographer, and his dad was a photographer.
Wow.
So I grew up, my dad is just all around a creative guy.
Cool.
Photography, videography, graphic design, drawing, everything.
Yeah.
So growing up, he always had a camera in our faces.
Nice.
And it wasn't till a few years ago, maybe, but after my grandfather died is when my dad told me that he was also a very talented photographer.
Really?
So I think it runs in the blood, which is cool.
That's so cool.
So middle school, just taking pictures for fun. In high school, I got my first big girl camera for my 16th birthday.
Do you remember what it was?
Yes, it was a Canon Rebel XTI, I want to say.
Sure. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure all the photographers listening are like, they know that.
They don't
lingo.
make them anymore.
Okay.
It didn't even have like video recording on
Really?
it. It was great at the time, but
Of course.
looking back now, I'd be like, that thing is minimal.
Can't do anything.
Yeah, but I loved it. Like, that's all I wanted for my 16th birthday.
Really?
And I went everywhere at that thing. Just yeah, just learning more about photography and just, again, capturing life around me, friends and family, and a lot of pictures of my dog.
Aw.
And um, I also took a photography class in high school,
Mm-hmm.
my freshman year, a film photography class. So
Okay.
black and white, dark room
Mm-hmm.
film,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved it. That was
Cool.
really fun. So high school, it was just always for fun. It was just a hobby.
Yeah.
And in college, it was still kind of a hobby for like the first few years of school, and then just wanted to start taking it more seriously.
Mm-hmm.
My dad encouraged me to take it more seriously because he
Really?
saw how gifted I was,
Cool.
and he has a entrepreneurial brain as well.
Yes.
And so he was like, if people want to pay you for your skill, you should take their money.
Right. Right.
And
Don't
so
be shy.
he encouraged me to start thinking of it as a business, make a website, start, marketing however I can.
Mm-hmm.
So that started in college
Nice.
around my third year in school.
What did marketing a new photography business look like in college?
In college, it was mostly posting on Facebook.
Okay, of course, of course.
That I have a camera and I know how to use it.
Yes.
And at that time, a lot of my friends were graduating, so it was just telling people, you need senior photos, I'll take them.
Nice.
Yeah, so a lot of, in the beginning, was just senior pictures, or
Cool.
just if anyone wanted to put on something cool, I'll take
Right.
pictures. I had another close friend that had a clothing line,
Mm-hmm.
and mostly like t-shirts, so I
Yeah.
would do a lot of his stuff for
Gotcha.
just clothes and
Yeah.
outfits. But yeah, it was a lot of just taking my camera everywhere, and then people would say,
Yeah.
"Oh, can you do this?
Yeah.
Can you shoot that?"
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Did you study photography in college, or what's college for you?
No. So I went to Georgia Tech here in Atlanta.
Okay.
And
Hey, Yellow Jackets.
yes, and I studied. In the beginning, I was studying architecture
Uh-huh.
for my first 2 years, and then I realized I didn't really like it.
Mhm.
So I changed my major to building construction, which
Okay.
is essentially project management for construction. And so that's what I graduated with, which is very different from photography.
Yeah, fun known facts about Kiyah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not creative really at all, and it's very structured. But I loved learning about it in school.
Sure.
I'm fascinated by buildings, and so after I graduated, I was in that field for about a year and a half, doing residential and commercial construction, but also building my photography business at the same time.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. When did you know it was time to go full time with photography?
I just had an itch for pretty much as soon as I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
So when I graduated, I did want to just do it, but
Right.
I didn't really have clients, and
Yeah.
I knew it wouldn't sustain me.
Sure.
But I knew it was time when I actually got let go from the construction job that I was working.
Gotcha.
And so I got pushed off that cliff into full-time photography.
Yeah.
But I was so thankful, because I think I would have been too scared to leave my job, or just pushing it off, saying maybe next year, maybe the
Right.
next year.
Right.
Who knows when it would have happened.
Sure.
So I'm forever grateful that I got let go.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Because I was able to just focus all my time then on my business, and it's been almost 3.5 years now.
Nice.
Full time, yeah.
Nice. Good for you. Good for you. Was it scary, or was it, you said that you were excited.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were ultimately thankful that you got let go and kind of got forced into
Yeah.
going full-time photography, but was it scary? How did you work through that? What was challenging at first?
It did have its scary moments, and it still does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest challenge has been patience. So, like I said, going back to when I graduated, I was feeling so impatient. I wanted to be a successful photographer right then and there.
Right.
But I knew I wasn't there, so I had to be patient in finding, working another full-time job while
Right.
building my business.
Right.
That
right.
patience was very hard, because I was just 9 to 5 in one job, and every other waking hour was photography. So it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then in going full time, again, just patience in what the next month or months or year would look like.
Yeah.
And just never knowing, like having a plan, but honestly never knowing what anything is going to turn out to be.
Yeah.
And that takes so much patience.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you and I, we were just talking before we started recording, and we were talking about how, like, as entrepreneurs, there's just 10,000 things you could be doing, and figuring out what comes next, what's important, what gets your attention today can be tough. Like, it's like I joke that it's like a never-ending group project.
Yes.
At school.
Yeah.
From school, but it's good, it's fun. Like the freedom and the flexibility that you have is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's also like, it's on you.
Yeah.
You've got to figure out, you've got to prioritize, you've got to develop your skills.
Yeah.
What did improving your photography, like literally the photography skills in the beginning, what did that look like for you? Was it just practice? Did you take classes? What was that?
Oh my gosh. So I'm a student at heart. Like I've always loved school and loved learning, and I knew I would bring that same energy into my business. And so I'm just obsessed with anything educationally that's going to grow me as a photographer. So in the past 5 years, I've probably been to at least 10 or so workshops and conferences.
Nice.
And then online courses, probably done 10 or so of those too.
So you've been eating it up.
Just constantly learning.
Yeah.
Just obsessed with this photographer I know is hosting a conference or a workshop, gotta go to that. This is happening here, gotta go to that.
Yeah.
So it's always, and it's a lot of investment. These things are not cheap.
Sure, of course.
But I kind of think of it as when you go to school, when you go to college, it's not cheap to learn all those things. And so I'm all about investing in my craft and the technical skills, but also the business side of things.
Sure.
In the beginning, I went to a lot of workshops for the technical. So just improving how I'm shooting, how I'm posing people, and just technically being a photographer. And then over time, I felt more confident in my skills, and so now I'm more obsessed with the conferences that are about running a business or marketing or just being a better entrepreneur.
Do you have a conference or workshop, especially in the entrepreneurial space, that's been really impactful to you that you'd like to share?
I think one thing that I love that I did recently, so a lot of photographers and maybe just business people in general will kind of have coaching, offering coaching,
Gotcha.
one-on-one.
Yeah.
And I found a photographer that I really admire in Washington, D.C., reached out to her, and we did a coaching call, I think in August. And it was all about business. It wasn't I wasn't asking her, how did you take this picture? It was just because she's been in the business, for 10 plus years. So I was asking her just all of those types of things. And I like that because it was one-on-one, and I had all her attention.
Yeah.
She was only focused on me and the questions I had. We probably talked for 2 hours.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so investing in that has been really helpful.
Yeah.
And especially learning from someone that's a veteran, I would say, in everything. And,
of course. And
I saw a lot of ways that just since August, that has propelled a lot of my business, that one-on-one with her.
So you're based in both Atlanta and D.C. Why? How? Tell us about that.
Yes. So I was born in Virginia in the D.C. area.
Yes. DMV.
DMV,
yes.
Born and raised.
I grew up in Chesapeake.
Okay.
Southern part of Virginia. So,
woo. Yes. So I lived there until I moved here for college. And around 2018, I'm now in that age where a lot of my friends are engaged and getting married.
Yes.
And so around 2018, I was getting a lot of friends that were getting married, but they were up in the Virginia area, and I kind of got to the point where I I'm pretty established here in Atlanta, not like famous
Yeah.
photographer of Atlanta, but
Not yet.
not yet.
Coming soon.
But I know a lot of vendors, photographed a lot of wedding venues here, and I like the place that I'm in here in Atlanta. But I wanted that in a different place, a different area, and I was just like, well, Virginia, D.C. area is perfect because it's home.
Yeah.
And I know people there,
Right.
and it's a great market for weddings and just all kinds of things.
It's a beautiful area. I love DC.
It is, yeah.
I love
And so
DC.
once I had a few friends wanting to book me in that area for their weddings in 2018, it was such a whim. I was just like, you know what? I'm based in both cities now.
Just decided.
Yeah. And I kind of knew it would work, again, because that was home. So every time I go back to shoot there, I get to stay with my dad. My dad still lives there.
Yeah.
A lot of my family's still there.
Cool.
So I get to see everyone, see friends, and then again, establish myself in that market.
Yes.
And it just kind of works that basically anything that I do shoot in that area, I don't charge extra travel fees because it's a home base.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's been going really well. So
Good.
since 2018, I've been back and forth. I think 2018, I probably went back and forth 5 or 6 times. Last summer, 2019, I temporarily moved back to Virginia for about 2 months.
Okay. Wow. It's a good stretch.
And that was, yes.
For sure.
It was it was good to be home for that long.
Yeah.
And then I was able to establish a lot of great relationships in the industry there. And just going back and forth. And it's also good because it's not too far away. It's like an hour-and-a-half plane ride.
Yeah.
Flights are cheap.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's been
good. Why is photography, what is it about photography that you love? Why is that your passion?
Yeah. So, like I said, since photography has been in my life for so long, I've realized that I just think it's the purest form of memory preservation, of legacy preservation.
I like that.
Everything, history, a lot of it comes from photographs, whether that's 10 years ago or 100 years ago.
Yeah.
People know things and know a lot about their past from photographs that are taken and shared.
Yeah.
And so thinking back to my childhood, again, going back to my dad always recording us and preserving our lives, that's what always intrigued me then, and even now, especially with weddings. I mean, weddings are a start of a legacy for families. One of the most joyful days that people experience. Sometimes it's just a big old family reunion. Family members that haven't seen each other in years are coming together, and to be a part of that and a fairly critical part.
Yeah, absolutely.
In
if you
that
mess
day.
up the photography.
Yeah, thankfully I haven't messed anything up at all.
For
yet.
sure. But you do hear those horror stories every once in a while.
Yeah. But that's what it always comes down to for me, is just preserving these times in my life and in other people's lives. And
it's beautiful.
I have boxes of photos from years and years ago that I still look back on. So that's what speaks to me about photography. Just all the preservation, all the emotions that come back just looking at one photograph.
Yeah, that's great. So a lot of times when creatives turn their creativity into a business, there could be like a drop in the passion or the creativity. Are you one who still, like, do you take your camera with you everywhere when you travel, or is it like, this is me time, this is lifetime, no camera? Like, have you separated those two, or are you still the nerd behind the camera all the time?
It's sadly it has gotten to that point of that drop in picture taking, and I've found some ways to combat that, which is great. But for a while, every time I picked up my camera, it felt like work, and so I just kind of stopped. unless it was work. Yeah, my camera was just kind of stay at home. And I think that's also because when I did have a camera, people were expecting a lot from
Sure.
it. Even if I just wanted to hang out with friends and capture what we were doing, it came down to like, oh my gosh, Kiyah, you have to send that to me, or how soon can I see the photos you just took? And I'm like, never.
Never.
But
Yeah.
some ways that I've overcome that are, it's great with my phone. Like, everyone has a phone,
Sure.
so I try to take pictures just for fun on my phone when I can. Going back to film photography, so when I can and when I remember, I try to have a film camera with me at all
that's
times.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and so with film, you can't even see it as soon as you take the picture. So
Of course, yeah.
no one's nagging me of like, can I see that picture you just took?
That's
no,
so cool.
you can't.
Yeah. Actually, you can't.
Yeah.
Or they'll like be destroyed.
Exactly.
So.
and that took pressure off of me. And then with film too, you don't have to sit there and load them on the computer and edit every single one. You just wait for them to be developed and see what you get.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
I'm trying to get better at documenting my everyday life with film rather than with my digital camera.
Gotcha.
Still not great at it, but yeah. And I take pictures when I travel all the time. Like,
cool.
That's something that I don't mind having my big camera with.
Do you have a favorite city that you've traveled to?
I have so many. Probably my all-time favorite is London.
I love London.
Yeah. I lived there for 3 months studying abroad.
So cool.
Fell in love with London.
I so love London.
And
I'd go back to London in a heartbeat.
Yeah, anytime I get to go back, it's
that's so
one
cool.
of my favorite places for sure.
Very cool. Very cool. So, any words of wisdom for somebody who wants to start out or is starting out in photography world?
Yeah. In photography, this can apply to anything. And it's a revelation, I guess, that I just got maybe a month or so ago.
Do share.
I don't want it to come off pessimistic or cynical by any means, but I want people to know that, and something, I just wish that I took more seriously or knew back 5 years ago. If you are wanting to start a business with something you love, like a hobby, whatever it is, just realize that once you start this and once it gets going, it's going to take up 99% of your brain. Nearly everything you think about and do, everything is going to revolve around this thing.
Yeah.
So with photography, and again, going back to how my love, I still love it.
Of course.
Love it.
It's just in a different space.
Yeah. But now it's like there's a lot more layers on top of the love. And now, so yeah, every waking moment kind of is like, how's my business doing? Have I responded to that email? Is this person waiting for something?
Right.
What does financially this look like for the next year? Am I saving for retirement? Like, all of these things, 99% of my brain power is focused on this, stemming from my love for photography at age 16. So I just let people know, like, it is absolutely amazing being an entrepreneur and running my business, but it's all I think about.
Yes.
And
I can definitely relate, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who can relate to that. I mean, it's your, as cliche as it is, it's your baby. It's your child. Like, you are
big old baby
birthing this child and raising it. To maybe one day being its self-sustaining thing, but you're in it. You're everything right now.
And so that's what I tell people. Even just saying, if they're like, I love taking pictures, I would love to start my own business.
Right.
Great.
Yes.
Are you prepared to never think about anything else ever again?
Yes.
And it definitely takes the right, I don't know, like the right kind of person to pursue that and to thrive in it.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I do love the business side of things, but some people don't. And that's why I think it's okay to just keep things as a hobby sometimes. And,
of course.
not always jump right into the entrepreneur side.
Yeah, for sure. How do you keep balance in your life? Do you have a social life? Do you how do you stay healthy? Do you sleep? Like those kind of things?
Oh, it's all over the place.
Yes.
Sometimes I joke that I've been in a relationship with my business for the past 4 years, because that's like about how long I've been single too. But it's kind of everything. But in terms of balance, I've been getting better at balance, just because it seems like every year I go through burnout around the same time of the year, in the fall. Creative burnout, emotional burnout, everything. I'm just like, it's hard.
Yes.
So it's like I see it and I know it's coming, and sometimes I can prevent it, but sometimes I can't. But one thing that's been helpful the past couple of years, I've established better work hours.
Okay.
And each year it gets stricter.
Yeah.
So I've stopped. So obviously weddings are usually on the weekend that I'm shooting, but sometimes people will want other shoots, engagement sessions, or little family stuff. And for a while I was always scheduling those on the weekends as well.
Yeah.
And then my calendar was every single weekend I was shooting, and I was always like, sorry, can't hang out.
Yep.
Sorry, mom, can't come visit you. Shooting every weekend. So I made the decision that weddings, obviously can't change those. Those have to be on the weekends.
Sure.
Any other shoots, sorry, I'm only available to shoot those during the week.
Got it.
And I was worried. I was like, no one's going to be able to, spend a Wednesday evening for an engagement session.
Yeah.
And I was so wrong, because everyone's fine with it.
Everyone's fine. I think people respect those. They respect when, a business person defines their boundaries.
Exactly.
I mean, you reciprocate that to other businesses, when you go to...
the doctor isn't open when I'm
doctor's
when
not
it's
open on
convenient
Sunday
for me.
night. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So people make it work.
Absolutely. And it's been great, because now, even if I don't have a wedding on a weekend, I have time to hang out with friends or do what I want.
Go out to brunch with me after church on Sundays.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's been a great boundary. And then work hours, kind of too. I've gotten better at just stopping work around 6 or 7.
That's good.
Enjoying my evening. And recently I stopped. So I have a lot of client meetings, usually during the week after they get off work. So, that's like between 5 and 8 or whatever.
Right.
Which is fine. But I've stopped doing those on Friday nights, because I want to have a life and not have to be in a client meeting at 8 p.m. on a Friday night.
Right. Fair enough.
So that I just started probably a few months ago, and
those sound like very reasonable boundaries to be setting.
Yeah.
For sure.
Trying not to check email constantly, which is hard.
I literally last week just turned off the the badge doesn't come up on my iPhone anymore for emails. It's like, I'm gonna check it when I'm gonna check it. No one's dying. No one's on fire.
Exactly.
And when I check it, I try to respond to everything in like a batch session, but just not constantly getting notified has helped my brain just be so much less hectic.
Yes.
Same with social media. Like when I decide to go to Instagram, I will go to Instagram, but I don't need Instagram telling me to open it every 5 seconds.
I turned off notifications for social media years ago. Yeah.
Well, especially as a photographer, I mean, I could only imagine just like the constant, especially on a visually based platform like Instagram, just the constant, man. Yeah. So that's good. Healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Healthy boundaries.
And it's a work in progress too.
For sure.
I'm not perfect by any means.
Neither am I. What are you excited about in your business today? What's next? For Kiyah C.
2020 is an exciting year because
say more.
I've been putting this out there a lot, so now I'm like, I got to do it.
I did the same thing.
I am.
It's like,
planning,
guys, I'm going to start a class. Oh, I got to go write the class.
I know. Well, that's actually one of my goals. I'm planning to launch an online course this year.
Yes, online course.
It's just scary just saying it.
Oh man, do it.
And it's been on my list probably for 3 years. I've been saying this.
Yeah.
And so now I really have to just do it.
Yeah.
And start.
For who?
For people that want to start a photography business or
great.
that want to grow their business, kind of like leave whatever if they're hating their full-time job and they're wanting to
make that leap.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
And yeah, so it's scary just because there's a lot of work that goes into it, and I kind of get that imposter syndrome of like, Kiyah, what makes you think you can teach other people how to do this?
But then that's so funny because like there's other people who are looking at you like, oh my gosh, I would love to learn
exactly
how she did what she did.
Exactly. So
Wow.
I know I can do it.
Yes.
I've just got to trust that I can do it.
So everybody, you've heard it. Kiyah C is starting an online class helping people start their photography businesses. So if we don't hear more from her about that soon, we're coming for you, sis. We're coming. Okay? It's out there now.
It is.
Gotta do it.
It is. And I'm excited. I know it'll be great. Just getting over the fear of it will
absolutely
be the biggest thing.
I mean, starting this podcast, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I know I'll look back on like the first couple of shows. I already like listened back to the first 1 or 2 episodes and like, oh my gosh, what was I doing? So just like imagining that in a year or in 2 years or in 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Just it's not gonna. The imposter syndrome is real. Perfectionism is real, and learning how to let that go is so important.
Yeah.
And been a big lesson I've been learning lately. Like, it is not going to be perfect in the beginning. I'm not going to be perfect. My first shows aren't going to be perfect. But I've gotta, if I don't do something and release something, I won't get better. And it'll never grow.
Yeah, better done than perfect.
Yes.
And perfection is impossible anyway. What even is perfect? So,
yeah.
And one thing my old pastor would say a lot about, he would say it more in like a faith mindset, but I think it applies to a lot of things. He would always say there's someone waiting on the other side of your risk. And I mean, that's so true of like you said, there's people that do really want to learn from me and are admiring, watching me over the years. And so when I do get scared, I just think of that one person that's on the other side of that launch that I need to get on.
So good.
Yeah.
That's so good. Man.
Yeah. So that's one big thing for this year. And then 2020 is also the year that I grow my team.
Yay!
So I'm planning to hire another photographer to join me because I need help.
Yes.
I've hired interns the past 2 years.
Okay. Were those just temporary positions?
Yes.
Okay.
Seasonal admin interns.
Got it.
So usually September to November. And then March to May.
Okay.
And that has been so helpful. I've had 3 interns now the past 2.5 years.
Very cool.
And so I've learned a lot from that, of just being a leader in my business and having an employee in a sense.
Say more about that. How is an entrepreneur move from everything's on me to gracefully passing along work to somebody else or whatever? What does that relationship look like?
Yeah, it comes with a lot of releasing control, which
scary.
Yes, and I don't know if that
but
is
necessary.
More. Yeah, it's an entrepreneur's trait, or maybe it's just a personality thing.
Human condition.
Because going back to this is our baby, and it's giving someone else part of your baby or all of your baby.
Yes.
It can be very scary, but the reward for me with my interns has been so much better than being afraid of of releasing that control. So some of my past interns have established systems in my business that I never would have thought of on my own. They've been able to take care of things that I don't have to be doing. There's things I do need to do myself. I'm the one that's taking the pictures, and I'm the one that's kind of communicating at some things, but there's a lot of things I don't have to touch.
Yes.
And it was great to release control on those things.
That's cool.
And I do a pretty extensive like interview and application process. So I'm not just randomly picking someone. I'm finding someone that's organized and reliable and hardworking and has these skills that I know are gonna be a good fit for helping me.
Of course.
And so just picking the right person has also been key in giving them that control, because I've seen their track record that they're able to show me.
Yeah.
And then it's really helpful to let them take my baby for what they need to do.
Yes,
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So. Very cool. Very cool. This has been fun. We'll start wrapping up here.
Yeah.
So wait, you are heading to Europe soon.
Yes.
Yes. How long are you going to be in Europe?
I'm going to be there about 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'll get there I think this time next week I'll be there.
Nice.
I'll go to Amsterdam first.
Yes, Amsterdam.
Yeah, a few days there, then taking a train to Berlin.
So fun.
A few days there, and then flying to Barcelona.
Fun.
And then flying to Madrid.
This is so exciting. Very cool. Well, we hope you have a safe trip.
Thanks.
Before you go, are there any businesses you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yes. There's a lot, but I'll just share one that I'm actually a part of.
Okay.
So I'm on a team that has started Portrait Coffee. Have you heard about it?
I have not heard about it. Say more.
Yeah,
Teach me.
So it is a coffee shop and roastery that's starting here in Atlanta in the West End.
Okay.
So a team of us, Black-owned business, essentially reintroducing coffee to the West End of Atlanta.
Very cool.
And specialty coffee, but also just coffee in general. So it's been something that's been very like whitewashed and westernized, even though coffee in itself
comes from
Black and brown people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're reintroducing that in a sense that once we open the shop this summer in the West End of Atlanta, which is historically a black center of the city.
Yes.
And we're just excited to show people that Black people belong in the coffee industry.
Yeah.
Black people drink coffee too.
They do. Me every morning with my Chemex pour over.
Nice.
Come for me, okay?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the nerd with the scale and the heat at a certain temperature and the timer.
Just for you then,
and the timer, all of it. I want to know where the beans came from.
Perfect.
The grind size has to be correct. Like, I'm the nerd.
You're the nerd.
I'm the nerd. I'm the coffee nerd. So
good, yeah.
And
so we love people like that, obviously, but then also the people that don't drink coffee because either they don't understand it or they've only ever had McDonald's coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, like, who are like, I don't like coffee. It's disgusting. You've never actually had coffee.
You haven't had the right
coffee. You haven't. It's been burnt and stale. It's dead by the time it arrives to the shelf on the grocery store, and it's been dead for the 5 months that it sat there. And now you're going to brew it with water that's too hot, too quickly. Like,
and it's such a science that if you do things wrong, it's not going to taste good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm a nerd.
Good. I'm gonna.
That's great.
I'll keep plugging it.
Why is it called Portrait Coffee? Is there a photography component to it?
Yeah. So part of it is when you think of a portrait, you think of the history behind a picture, which is, what I was just talking about too.
Right.
So some of it is reframing that narrative of what picture comes to mind when you think of coffee.
I like it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So there's a lot of, a lot more to it, but that's kind of where the name came from, and just pouring a new narrative when it comes to what do you think of coffee?
I can't wait.
Yeah. So I was a barista for 4 years.
Okay.
And I was never a coffee nerd, but I love making drinks.
Sure. Yeah.
But within Portrait, I'm on the marketing side. So right now we're just doing a lot to lead up to opening the shop this summer, and
Nice.
We've been doing a lot of pop-ups, and we have one
Nice.
actually on Friday. So
Nice.
yeah, so this Friday we're
Cool.
having a pop-up, and we are Portrait Coffee ATL on Instagram.
Portrait Coffee ATL. I'll be sure to tag that in the show notes.
Yeah. And so it's been really great to be on a team that, it's funny because this isn't my baby,
right?
But I'm still holding it and loving it and caring for it in a different way.
Very cool. Well, I can't wait until the coffee shop opens, and I got to catch you guys at a pop-up sometime.
Yes.
And so we're looking forward to that. Yay, West End. Yay, Black-owned business. Yay, coffee. Love it. 3 things I love. Well, Kiyah, this has been a joy. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your week before a major trip to come and talk today. So I appreciate your time for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited. We just figured this connection out last week, and
absolutely.
I'm excited that I was able to come and be on your podcast.
Absolutely. All right. Well, have a safe trip.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Kiyah, thanks again so much for coming and hanging out and sharing your story. I'm sure a lot of folks can relate and find encouragement in what you had to share. And obviously that interview took place in what seems like a completely different time in world history, even though we sat down and talked about 8 weeks ago. I was just looking. It was about 2 months ago that we did that interview, and the world is completely different right now. And something that's been encouraging despite all that's going on with COVID-19, it's really warmed my heart to see how many small business owners and entrepreneurs and just people with skills, particular skill sets in general, are giving of their time and their expertise in order to help people out. And so if you are a business owner and you have products that you are selling online and need professional photos done of your products, get in contact with Kiyah. You can reach her on Instagram at Kiyah C, and Kiyah is spelled Kiyah. And she's kind of doing a small business exchange right now while we are in, under stay-at-home orders and all that. And a lot of folks are finding themselves turning their in-person businesses online. So in exchange for products, she is happy to take photos of your products and give you those professional photos for your online stores and social media and whatever other marketing materials that you're using to promote your online business and your products. So reach out to Kiyah at Kiyah C on Instagram, shoot her a DM, and get some professional photos for your business. And just for those who are interested in Portrait Coffee, I was able to make it to one of their pop-ups, and the coffee is amazing. Highly recommend the Aunt Viv if you get a chance to to see him in person sometime. Obviously right now pop-ups are on hold, but they are still, fortunately, they're still roasting coffee and selling their coffee beans. And I've become a regular customer since our interview and can confirm that it is good stuff. So Portrait Coffee ATL on Instagram, you could find them there. And if you're interested in a coffee subscription, delivery service to get your coffee beans sent right to your front door, check them out at Portrait Coffee ATL. So good stuff all around. Hope that you all stay healthy. Hope that you all stay happy. If you are looking for help in your finances in this very weird season of life, feel free to reach out. My email address is kim@themoneyfreedommovement.com, and I'd be more than happy to connect with you there. Until next time, my friends, be relentless in the pursuit of your freedom. Take care, guys.